Today I'm going to show you the exact process that I use to help golfers become more consistent. Not because it magically fixes your swing, but because it fixes the way you improve. How many years have you been trying to become consistent? 5, 10, 20 even? Yet somehow every single season starts exactly the same. You tell yourself, this is the year. I'm finally going to break 90, break 80, whatever your goal is. Maybe buy a few training aids, maybe have a few lessons, watch a few YouTube videos, hit some buckets of balls with the best intentions. It actually feels like you're getting better. Saturday comes round, stand on the first tee, stripe your first drive down the middle. Here we go, this is the day. And then the next one, top it along the floor. You 3-putt from 20 feet and you walk off the course thinking, really? How can I hit it so well on the range and not on the golf course? If this sounds familiar, you probably haven't got a swing problem. You've been trying to improve using a broken system. And until you fix that, you'll keep repeating the same frustrating cycle year after year. I've realized that consistency isn't about finding the perfect swing. It comes from following the right process. Yes, having a good swing is going to help, especially if you want to break into that single figures or even lower bracket. But even if I'm coaching those lower handicap golfers, I still use the same process that I'm about to show you. Not because it's exciting, but because it works. So let's jump over to the iPad and show you the system. Welcome to Level Up Golf. So what we have here is a 4-step process, and I want you to think of this as a flywheel. So we're going to start with Analyse, then move across to Train, down to Play, and finally across to Level Up, and then we just repeat the cycle. So with all of these things, we're going to start in the middle. So let's say you have a goal, and let's call it, you want to break 90. Let's just start with that. You can write your own goal down, but this is where we're going to start in this process. So we head over to Analyse, and the chances are you have inconsistent scores. And this flywheel's job is to help you with your consistency. So in the Analyse phase of this flywheel, first of all we need to know where your shots go. Where's the leak in the bucket, so to speak? And from there, we give you options. Options to play a different game of golf using the skills you currently have. And we're going to use a specific scorecard for that. So when we look at the scorecard, you've got to think the game's broken down into different sections. So we have tee shots, you have approach shots, we have short shots, and finally putting. Now I don't know where you're currently at in your journey. You may be let's say you're a 95 shooter, but you might have the long game of a 5 handicap. Or you might be on the flip side, you might have a terrible long game and a really good short game. So we start to use this flywheel to find out where exactly your problems are lying, and using the scorecard, you'll start to see, we'll start to see a pattern emerging, and once we find the pattern, that's when we move across to the Train side. So let's jump over to that now. So Train, at the moment, most of you probably have aimless practice. That's not saying you don't practice, that's probably saying you're not really dialed into what you're trying to improve. You might think it's a ball striking issue, you might think it's I want to fix my driver, it might be putting, whatever it is. So you've got an idea, but is it really based off of data? So we're going to give you purposeful practice. So we're going to teach you what to practice, how to practice it, and then how to test it so it's course ready. And what that looks like in reality, you think of it like we're going to use a traffic light system. So We have red, amber, green. So the red, parts of your game that need work. The amber is okay, and the green parts, you're happy. So you're going to analyse every area of your game, where you think you are now and where you think you need to improve. And what I've done for you, in the description below, there's a link to a little benchmarking table that you can just go through this and drop down menu, click red, amber, green, and then it will give you a bit of an overview of where you think your game is now and what you need to work on first. So most of you, chances are you practice the things that you're good at. No one wants to practice hitting poor shots on the driving range, especially if there's people around. So you're going to be practicing the things that you like, rather than practicing the stuff that the scorecard analysis has given us to help improve that next area of your game. So once you've watched this video, that's there available for you to download. So moving on from that, down into the play side of things, this is when we take it onto the golf course. So chances are at the moment you have probably got a poor mindset. You blow up at the slightest, something goes wrong, oh here we go again, or you give up after a few holes because you've suddenly dropped all your shots. So we're going to give you course confidence. So we're going to transfer the skills that we've learnt in the train element into the course confidence side of it. So how we go about that? First of all, you need to ask the right questions. So this is before you even pull the club out the bag, and you should be thinking about this as you walk up to the shot. So you'll be thinking about where's the wind, where's the trouble, and when you finally get to the ball, it's like, right, what's the lie like? What is it going to allow me to do? How far is my shot that I need to hit? And where are all the danger areas that I need to avoid? So those are the questions. So effectively, you're going to become your own caddy. Once we've done that, we need a solid pre-shot routine, preferably as fast as possible. Don't want to be faffing around, letting all these horrible thoughts come into your mind. You want to ask the right questions, you pull your club, you know exactly what you're going to do. The pre-shot is the moment. Once you've asked the questions, you stand behind the ball, do your visualization, walk in. So that's all the pre-shot stuff. Might have a few waggles, might have a little bit of a feel that you're working on from your practice. And then finally, we let it flow. So you've made all your decisions, you let it go, the shot happens, and after that we've got to decide, have I done all of the things beforehand? So you follow the process. So if you follow the process, the result will be what the result will be. If for some reason before you've hit the shot something came, it might have been someone shouted, or you suddenly got indecision in, maybe I've picked the wrong club. Most people just still go ahead and hit it. Whereas if you're confident with your pre-shot routine and you know something's crept into your little bubble, it's easy to step away and reset and go again. Hence why I said play like Ryan Fox, because if you've got a really long pre-shot routine and then you have to back out, then you've got to go through it all over again. And that ends up, you start to rush your shots, or the playing partners start to get pissed off with you. And finally, we move across to level up. So level up is about changing your goal. So you might now be breaking 90 and you want to take those next steps into breaking 80. You've got more confidence. You've followed this system, and this is going to work for you whether you're trying to break 90 or trying to break 70. This renewed sense of confidence because you're following this process. And finally, more enjoyment. And when you're happy on the golf course, happy home, happy spouse, happy kids. And finally, we go back and we just keep analysing, keep training, keep putting those skills into play, And that, my friends, is a level up golf. What you're going to do now, if you've seen this diagram, and what I want you to do is just map out a few areas. So you might think, if you look at all of this, you might know where your leaks are coming from. You may know what to practice. You may know a few tests. You may have a solid pre-shot routine. You don't think about your scorecard in as much detail as you should do. Maybe you don't know how to practice. Maybe you don't ask the right questions. And then sometimes you might have different options that you've got. So what I mean by that is if you haven't got your A game on, have you got a B game? So some of you might be okay with that. Maybe you don't let it flow. So you're going to go through this diagram now and just circle the bits that you think you're good at, not so good at, okay at, and then we're basically going to take all the red areas and try and turn them into ambers. And if you're all in amber, then we're going to turn those into green. And then for each one of these, especially in the train side of this module, when you go into it, there's a different set of videos and skills. So you learn new skills. You're just bolting on new skills or improving the skills that you already have, just to take you to that next level. So if it's driving, we try and improve your dispersion. If it's short game shots, we try and improve your proximity. And if it's putting, we try and start to hold more of those 6 to 8 foot putts. But the whole thing is a process. You go through it, you chip away at it. Don't think this is a big sprint. So some of you that join this program will end up knocking 10 shots off really quickly, especially if you're up there the knife shooting 95, 100, it's very easy to knock 10 shots off. If you're down into the single figure bracket and want to sort of start to edge down towards scratch, then you've got to be a bit more precise. Everything's a bit more all about proximity, hitting more greens, making more putts, being better with your short game. So the basic structure of Level Up Golf is free. You can join my school community. The link is in the description. So head over there now, sign up, get yourself on board. Once you're inside, you'll know what to do. If you want a little bit more help from myself, then there are options to do that. But hopefully you can take away all of that you've learned here today, start making a plan for your game, set yourself a goal, start to analyse your scorecards in a little bit more detail, start to practice with a bit more of a purpose, start to think a little bit more about your shots when you're on the golf course, asking the right questions, try and build a pre-shot routine, and then hopefully you'll gradually level up. So you can easily do this yourself, but if you want speed and accountability, then head over there to Level Up Golf now, and I'll hopefully see you inside and start to help you with your game. Thanks.